Nipsey said, find your purpose or you're just wasting air. I found my purpose in 2019. My purpose was to explain 109 or 109. Before I understood my purpose, I had my attention called to those numbers, 10 and 9. And I have a 12-year history over which I kept being called to attention, not called to action, but called to attention, like pay attention, pay attention. Call it the universe, call it God. That's what happened on a, perpetual, it still happens to this day, on a perpetual basis. I was called to attention, and I noticed 10-9 under the most peculiar circumstances, and it resonated with me. Of course, it's because it's my birthday, but because there's so much more baked into those numbers, right? 10-9, I had no idea that there are 109 beads on the mala necklace. And the mala necklace is a Hindu, it's a Hindu necklace, an Indian, Asian necklace, but we have comparatives in other religious traditions and faiths, like Muslim prayer beads and Catholic rosaries and you name it. But 109 is a hugely significant number, especially as I learned in the Hindu tradition. So I didn't even know about that, all my life, or until 2019. So then when I started to see 109 embraced by different people, then I was curious as to, hey, what do you know about 109 that I haven't learned yet, basically? So for instance, I found a website called 109world.com. It was a company, and they offered like spiritual retreats where you relax and you do yoga and you help the environment and stuff. It was a peaceful and like a very conscious mindfulness sort of a thing. I emailed someone on the company and I said, why did you choose 109 as the name, 109 World? That's when they told me about the mala necklace and the mala beads. And they explained to me that there are 109 beads on the necklace, and the 109th bead is called the guru bead. And I thought, wow, that's so interesting. So like the 109th bead, I have to be that guru. I have to be that one of enlightenment who is expressing or sharing the ideals about 109 and explaining to the world. That's my job. That's my purpose, you see. So there was 109 World, and then I saw Philippe's 109. Philippe's 109 is a Mexican restaurant in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And I saw his advertisements on Instagram, and I thought, well, what is Philippe? Why did he choose 109 as his numbers? I messaged him, I DM'd him. I said, why did you choose 109? He said, because of the Bible verse, or the biblical verse, Romans 10:9. And I said, what? Romans 10:9? I looked at that and I read it, and Romans 10:9 says, confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord and you will be saved. And I thought, wow, that's really deep. Because by the time I talked with Philippe and he gave me that scripture, because at that point in time, I was ready for my call to action, because sadly, Nipsey Hussle had been murdered. I was in Oman when I got this call to action. It was the same day that Nipsey Hussle was murdered that I saw 109. And it was 7 days after he was murdered that I looked into the sky and I saw something that I had never seen, that I can't explain, that was there for a reason. It was there, and it was there on that particular day. 7 days after Nipsey Hussle's murder, I saw a cross in the sky. And I surmised a cross in the sky, Nipsey Hussle's murder, Nipsey Hussle died around the time of Jesus's resurrection, y'all. All right, Easter. It was Easter in America, but at the same time, Muslims in Oman were celebrating the Prophet Muhammad's ascension to heaven. Peace be upon them. There are no coincidences. So I'm looking at this experience. I see the cross in the sky, 7 days. 7 is a biblical number. 7 days after Nipsey's murder. And on the day Nipsey, was murdered, I saw the number 109 on the back of a truck. Mysteriously, there was only one truck on the road, and my car, 2 cars on the road, and that car had the license plate 1090. Like, how did that happen? What are the chances of that happening? I was driving to work that morning. There were only 2 cars on the road. It was the day Nipsey was murdered that I saw that. So taken together, it was just too much of a coincidence. And I just said, you know what? These aren't coincidences. This is all connected.